Hey guys, this is Anastasia, and this is day 3 of Yule. Um, Tonight is the night that traditionally you honor the darkness. You honor Mani, the moon. Um, in Nordic tradition, the moon actually has a male uh, deity connected to it, which is kind of odd, I thought at least, just because so many cultures it's a feminine connection. Um, Greek mythos, you have Selene, um, Luna, Artemis is, I know, also with Greek mythos. Um, and of course, I'm blanking on like everything else. Aaronrod, I believe in Celtic. But the point is, and traditionally, it's this thought too: the sun is masculine or the god, and the moon is feminine or the goddess. Um, Sorry, my candle's getting a little sad. I need to move the wax around just a tidge. Oop. I need to figure out what to do with that. Anyway, so but with Nordic tradition, it is Mani. It's a male deity, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that balance in a way. I like acknowledging. I think especially in our culture, we get so hung up on what is male, what is female, and masculine versus feminine. I like that you can have a celestial body as empowered with femininity as the moon, and have it still connect to a masculine entity. I liked that. I don't know if that balance speaks to anyone else, but for me, I really liked that. So tonight is the night that we honor all that the moon gives us, all that Mani does, but we also honor the darkness. And I think that's kind of odd that that happens right after Yule, where we're kind of, yes, we acknowledge the darkness, yes, we embrace it perhaps, but it's about the rebirth of the sun. It's about re-energizing that and knowing that although you're in the longest night of the year, the sun is going to come back little by little, bit by bit. And but regardless, this is the night that we honor the darkness. With that, you kind of honor what darkness represents, what it means, what the shadow is for you. Winter, cold, all of that kind of harsh imagery. And certainly here in Minnesota, harsh reality sometimes. For me, it's something in the past that has been much more darker, much more sinister, much more unknowing in a way. And this year I'm really embracing it. So I was really looking forward to this night. And so to celebrate it, I felt a call back to Mabon, or the autumnal equinox, where I have my night picnics. I'll kitchen witch it up and make a meal that kind of resonates for me for that time of year and that Sabbath. And usually around midnight or so, go out onto the balcony and light some candles and sit outside in the autumn air at night and eat. And really it's about embracing the darkness. And I kind of felt that same pull tonight. So I'm making some of my favorite foods that my grandma makes, are made around Christmas time or on Christmas Day. Prime rib roast, Yorkshire pudding, trifle, and then once it's all done, because starting it at night, ribs, prime rib, takes a while, so I'm definitely going to be eating after midnight, but then turn off the lights and light a bunch of candles and just sit. If it's not too terribly freezing, I do want to go outside. No matter what, I'm going outside onto my balcony at some point with a glass of wine or something, just to be there and acknowledge that, because again, ancestor work is such a thing for me, and I really feel this pull at this night, on this night as well, because for our ancestors, the dark was like it was an issue. It was dangerous. It was imposing. Like there were reasons it was feared. There were predators at night that you couldn't really ward yourself from. There were things that you didn't know what it was. You could very well die just walking down the street because something could grab you, something could get you. Things that go bump in the night were terrifying. And the cold. Here it gets cold and, oh, I turn my heater up. It's, I grab an extra blanket. It's really not become for people lucky. I do understand there are people that live on the streets. There are people that know the cold in winter is still really a thing. I am very lucky and eternally grateful that that is not part of this life experience for me. If it gets cold, I have ways to combat it. And that's not something my ancestors had. That's not something that they could easily do. You had to store up on food. You had to make way for the dark of the year, because when that came, you had little to no options as to how you were going to feed and clothe and take care of your family. So I like the idea of going outside, even if it's for a small amount of time, with a candle and a glass of wine, probably, because that's how I roll, just to sit and be there and have that moment of quiet. And also with darkness comes silence. That kind of goes hand in hand, I'm finding. And I know I spoke to this when I made my in-bulk candle, and I think an in-bulk video last year, or this year, but a while ago. There is this magic, and there is this sound that comes, there's this magic, that's what I'm talking about. When you stand outside and it's snowing, and you can hear the flakes and the snowdrifts just gently hit the snow that's on the ground, that sound is something so beautiful and so magical. And unfortunately, it's not snowing tonight. I was really hoping it was going to snow tonight for that purpose, because I really wanted that to be part of it. But it brings you instantly to that meditative state. For me, at least, it's just, I can't help when that occurs. I can't help but to instantly be connected. And even just standing in the dark, outside in the dark, it's, standing in a room in the dark is great, but when you are outside and you can feel the wind and you can smell the air, and you can hear the noises from, people walking. Unfortunately, I'm in the city, so hearing cars is a thing, not all that spiritual. But when you can be outside in the dark, it takes on a whole other meaning. And for me, it has become a celebration, because I am scared of the dark. It is one of my fears. Dark and death, two huge fears of mine, go hand in hand. But this year I'm really learning to appreciate the dark and really embrace it as well as I can. And being outside in the dark, I have come to appreciate, and I have come to love. Being home alone in the dark is a very different experience for me, but being outside in the dark, I've come to really enjoy those moments. So that is going to kind of be my ritual tonight. I was trying to think of a way to kind of have a video of it or something, but the more I thought of it, the parts that I could record, the more I thought of it, the more I'm like, no, that needs to be a personal thing for me. And it really is about something that is intimate for me and personal, and I don't know that I'm okay or should share that. But I did want to kind of give a synopsis of what my honoring will be. And I also wanted to share, because tonight I did make my Yule Kitchen Witch recipe, which is, I chose mulled wine. And it smells amazing. I'm one of those people, when people brag about their food that they make, it's always like, seriously, chick? Seriously, dude? Like, we get it. You're awesome. But do you have to, but it does smell really yummy, but I don't know how it couldn't smell really yummy. So I'm going to run through the correspondences that I have of what goes into this bad boy. So your base is red wine, and red wine for me really unites to two things for me personally. A, feminine powers, and B, ancestors. And I think for me, the reason that those really connect is because it is red. Red wine is a substitute for many people, past, present, and probably future, for blood. And not to get gross to some, for me, I don't really see it as a taboo or gross. It is something I work with in my magic practice. Blood, especially menstrual blood, that is a taboo. When I first really kind of started delving into magic, it was like, oh gosh, why would you do that? And the older I get, the more I come to embrace it. There's something very, very personal. I mean, it comes from your body. It's very personal. It very much can connect you to things, especially magical tools and things. I don't know that I would necessarily eat it. I know some of my grandmother's folk magic that she would tell me about were talking about, cooking cakes with it and stuff, and it's like, no, I'm not going there. But I have made sachet bags with that. I have put that in with tarot decks that are just for me. I have put it into altars that I have made. Candles that I have made. It is something that I use. And I saw a meme once, and something clicked with me that, I'm sorry if I'm going way into depth on this, but it's not something that's talked about a whole lot, and I really, for me, it's something that really is powerful for me. But I saw a meme once that said menstrual blood is the only blood that comes without pain, without violence. I mean, even if you accidentally prick your finger or something, that's still an injury, or comes without injury, or something to that effect. And I thought of it, and it's like, wow, that's really true. I don't think it was without pain, because a lot of women can tell you, no, there is pain during that whole process. But yeah, for that reason, I connected to feminine power, because I think red wine is symbolic of blood, and blood definitely connects you to feminine power. At least for me, that's how I connect. I'm sure there are people that don't see that or don't feel that way, or, well, if it connects to feminine, why couldn't it connect to masculine? Because blood is blood is blood. Absolutely. I get your point. I take it to that time of the month type thing. I am sorry if I held on to that tangent far too long. But also it connects to the ancestors. Blood of my blood, bone of my bone. Red wine symbolizing blood. It connects. A lot of times when I do an offering to the ancestors, mead is a big thing for me. Apple cider or hard cider is a big thing for me, and red wine. I don't know that I've ever, I think maybe in a pinch I've used white wine when it's, oh crap, it's Samhain, and I have absolutely no liquor in my house, and I have no apples and nothing else to offer, and I need to put something on this damn altar. And I think I have done that like once before, but 9 times out of 10, no, not 9 times out of 10, more than that. There's like a 0.5%. No, most of the time it's red wine. Red wine seems to be what I have in my house quite a bit, so that tends to be my offering. So yes, so you start with the base of red wine, which I really like because it connects to the ancestors, it connects to the feminine powers, it connects to your life force, it connects to you. It connects to that spark that is within us all if we choose to tap into it. And so I really like that connection to spirit. Absolutely, it connects to that inner spark, that inner divinity within us all. The next ingredient are oranges. Oranges are great. Oranges are about abundance, happiness, love, marriage. I have notes so I don't forget. Abundance, happiness, love, marriage, energy. It is a solar connection. Palmeters, I swear I did this last year too when I did a Yule video. Palmeters are a big, and I might be saying the word wrong, so I apologize if I am, are a big decoration around this time of year. You take the orange and you put cloves all throughout it, and you hang it up, and you put it in certain windows, and it's supposed to help recharge the sun and re-energize the sun and get that life force going a little bit more. So I like having those in there as well, because it reminds us of, that although this is the dark of the year and we are at the pinnacle of darkness, that solar energy is rebuilding. It is recouping. Honey for attraction. Again, it connects to solar magic. It connects to that fire element. I do know some, and I like this as well, some do connect it to air as an element, because bees, fly through the air and this and that, and I kind of dug that too. For me, on a personal note, it sweetens life. It kind of, it helps slow things down a little bit. Just kind of like how honey oozes out of the bottle. Oh, that sounds horrible. How it kind of drips and flows out of the bottle. I don't know if that's any better than oozes, but you know what I mean. The way it kind of slowly comes out of the bottle, it slows things down. It makes you kind of take notice of what's around you and take stock and understand and acknowledge what you have and appreciate that sweet, those sweet aspects that you do have. I think it can also help to sweeten things in your life. If you're struggling, there are those honey pot spells. There's a reason honey's a thing. Also, honey for me connects to the good folk. It connects to the honored ones. It connects to the fae. And I like having that as well. Cloves. Cloves are great for protection, banishment, gaining what is sought, purification. It helps to raise vibrations. Correspondence I found online was it helps to bring an air of kinship to a social gathering. I like that. And clarity. It helps to kind of clarify things. And I think during this time of year, it's always good to have that clarity because you get bogged down. It is dark. It is cold. You feel that isolation. You feel that disconnect at times. And it's good to kind of get the cobwebs out and kind of realize, okay, no, focus. I'm just feeling this way because it's that time of year. I need to do something to get myself up and going and get that motivation going, get that determination going, get that energy going again within. Cinnamon, spiritual connections, success, healing, protection, power, love, luck, strength, and prosperity. Cinnamon, I absolutely adore. It's one of my favorite spices and things to use in everything. It is traditionally a fire element connection for me. Because it has that spiritual connection, I do also associate it with that fifth element, that spirit, because it amplifies, it brings everything to a new level for me. For me, it really connects me to Cernunnos. It connects me to my God, my patron. So I liked having, you have the red wine to connect to the feminine. For me, the cinnamon sticks connect you to the God. And then last but not least, star anise. Good for psychic awareness and abilities, power, and luck. So you basically take a big pot, put all these wonderful things together, heat it up, don't boil, but just heat it up, and then simmer, and you just let it sit and drink. And it's wonderful. The cloves definitely come out for me. little bit of bite from the oranges. The cinnamon just hits you, and the honey kind of sweetens up that. Otherwise, for me, red wine can be a little bitter, a little dry, because I did use kind of a dry red wine base for this, but the honey really helps bring it up and elevate it. So yeah, so that is my, and I'll put this video also on my Kitchen Witch playlist as well, since I went through all that. But yeah, that is how I am going to be honoring the dark. Midnight picnic with some ancestral foods, enjoying some mulled wine, and taking some time out to sit in the darkness and just have that moment of quiet and silence to honor it and thank it. So, and if you've been wondering, I know I played with it a little bit earlier, but I do have my 12 days of Yule candle still burning here. So, yeah. With that, I will bid you good night and blessed be, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful Yule. Bye, guys.